There are definitely characters in certain shows that viewers would love to see as the main focus of an entirely new series. It would be sensible to realize that their limited appearance might be the reason for their interesting nature. Nonetheless, who are the Letterkenny characters who merit a spin-off? Also, who are the funniest characters in Letterkenny? Keep watching to find out. Firstly, let's rank Letterkenny characters by likability. In the 7th position, we have Jonesy. Jonesy is among Letterkenny's hockey players who occupy a peculiar middle ground between likable and dislikable. Jonesy is a cocky and illiterate hockey star who dates Katie and is generally despised by Wayne, along with his best friend and teammate Riley. Despite their unbreakable bond, Jonesy frequently feels like Riley's understudy and occasionally takes a back seat to his more enduring friend. He does, however, possess an undeniably understated charm. In 6th place, we have Riley. Since Riley and Jonesy are so similar to one another and do everything together, it seems weird to even separate them as characters. Riley has a minor advantage because he is the more endearing of the two. He exemplifies the usual mentality of a teenage hockey player down to the stupid slang. It can occasionally be a bit annoying that Riley is such an incredibly conceited athlete. He is so silly though, and is made fun of so frequently that he also ends up being endearing. In the 5th position, we have Katie. Katie is a member of the Hicks and is Wayne's younger sister. She hangs out by the produce stand with Wayne and his buddies, participating in their numerous absurd talks. Despite Katie being a core gang member, the show treats her very differently from the boys. She is too sexualized and not given the same attention to detail as the other characters. But despite Katie's occasionally shoddy writing, she is a likable character and a welcome addition to the main gang. In the 4th position, we have Tanis. The Natives, a group of indigenous Letterkenny residents who clash with several other groups but build a kinship with the Hicks, are another significant group on the show. Tanis, a strong and witty young woman who develops a sexual relationship with Wayne, is the leader of the Natives. Unlike the other main characters, Tanis adds an intriguing new element to the show. She is a leader who has no fear and knows how to stand up for herself. She also wants respect from others. In 3rd place, we have Daryl. Wayne's closest companion at the produce stand is Daryl, who is always next to him. Daryl appreciates living a routine, repetitious existence and prefers to keep things simple, much like Wayne. He is a great friend of the group and participates in the jeers almost as effectively as Wayne. As Wayne frequently points out, he can be a little goofy and a little awkward. Although it can be grating sometimes, it sometimes makes him more endearing. In the 2nd position, we have Squirrely Dan. Squirrely Dan, who resembles a huge teddy bear, is another important member of the main gang. While Dan occasionally loses his cool, this is extremely unusual. Most of the time, he is just a genuinely lovely guy. Dan is another individual who approaches life with a relaxed attitude in almost every situation, which is more welcoming and open-minded than some of the town's other residents. And he doesn't seem to be particularly interested in demeaning others. The most likable Letterkenny character is Wayne. Despite having a low-key attitude, Wayne, the primary character in Letterkenny, is likable. Wayne is a country kid who appreciates a hard day's work and doing anything he can to support his town. He is a devoted Canadian who will defend his nation's history and people, and is ready to stand up for the underdog. Wayne, who calls himself the toughest guy in Letterkenny, puts a lot of effort into maintaining that reputation. When he isn't punching jerks, he abuses weaker individuals with vile jokes. The funniest Letterkenny characters. Although they might not be the kindest, the funniest characters on Letterkenny are unquestionably the greatest. The sleeper comedy features Nathan Dales as Wayne's best buddy and right-hand man Daryl, and Jared Kiso, the show's creator, as Wayne. The show's diverse cast, which is centered on the small town of Letterkenny, includes competing bands like the Hicks and the Skids, as well as everyone in between. Although Letterkenny was initially intended to be a YouTube online series, the Canadian network Crave picked it up in 2015 and has since found a new home with Hulu. Which character from Letterkenny is your favorite? The hockey players Riley and Jonesy are unbreakable bros, but Wayne and Daryl are fantastic. The funniest characters on Letterkenny include Wayne, who once said that it might be a hard life picking stones and pulling teats, but as sure as God's got sandals, it's better than fighting dudes with treasure trails. McMurray and Squirrely Dan are also among them. Jonesy, Riley, and Bonnie McMurray are among the funniest. The list also includes Katie, Daryl, and Glenn. Of course, we also have to mention Tanis, Coach, Mrs. McMurray, and Rold. The other names on the list of the funniest characters on Letterkenny include Stuart, Gail, Gay, and Devin. Characters from Letterkenny that deserve a spin-off. First on this list is McMurray. The persnickety and occasionally inappropriate piece of crap McMurray, played by Dan Tronievich, is involved in a lot of the funniest moments on Letterkenny. The devoted and occasionally intrusive head of the neighborhood agricultural hall is also Mrs. McMurray's spouse and Bonnie McMurray's older brother. Mrs. McMurray is played by Melanie Scrofano, and Bonnie McMurray is played by Camila Cole. In fact, we believe that McMurray's wife, sister, and even first name ought to be included, as well if Tronievich were to return to the part in a follow-up that might further examine what makes him tick, which is pretty much everything. Of course, misbehaving degens, treating Canada Gooses badly, and when things don't go according to plan, like how he and Wayne greet each other, get him extremely worked up. Next is Coach. Coach is one such individual who did clash with McMurray and company over his treatment of Canada Gooses. In the venerable Season 4 episode, A Fuss at the Golf Course, he is another character played by comedian Mark Forward, whose complete identity is unknown, as is the reason for the unexpected death of his beloved wife, Barb. A short temper is another trait that McMurray and Forward's fan favorite Letterkenny character share, especially after his hockey club, the No Regretskis, formerly the Letterkenny Shamrocks, suffers a tough defeat that he is quick to call embarrassing. Even though Hulu previously gave one Letterkenny hockey player his own program, our desire to hear Coach utter his legendary catchphrase more frequently is the sole reason we believe he merits a spin-off. Thirdly, the Ginger and Boots. Speaking of Shoresy, he is not the only minor character from Letterkenny whose anonymity, especially of the visage in his case, has served as a distinctive trait. For example, we still don't know the names of the actors who played the Ginger and Boots. They are reportedly friends with Jared Kiso in real life, and we don't get to see them on the show very often, let alone hear them speak much dialogue. The main contribution of the renowned fighting duo to the series has been through town rumors that one, or possibly both of them, supposedly perpetrated an indecent act on an ostrich, which is why their skills are only used in emergencies. Maybe in their own spin-off series, which would probably include some epic fisticuffs to demonstrate if they are actually tough or just 10-ply, we can find out how that rumor started. Let's get into the second half of the list. Next, we have Tanis. Tanis is one such character that did disagree with the Ginger and Boots during one of the crises that required their recruitment in the venerable Season 2 episode, The Native Flu. Tio Horn portrays the ferocious native leader and defender of the First Nations Reserve that is located just outside of Letterkenny. Tanis is the toughest non-hick character on Letterkenny due to her readiness to fight, either verbally or physically, with anyone, and at pretty much any time, with the exception of when she needed time to let her nails dry. This includes Wayne while they dated. We would give a Texas size 10-4 to the idea of a program that is her in the lead role, because it is always exciting to see her appear in an episode as a guest, recurring character, or series regular. Fifth on the list, Jake. You know, another fantastic reason to give Tannis her own spin-off is to provide insight into what occurs in the Letterkenny universe from a different cultural viewpoint. In this case, the perspective of the Native Americans living on the res. For the same reason, we'd be interested in seeing a television series that follows Wayne and Katie's American relative, Jake. Season 8 marked the debut of actor Jared Abramson as the delightfully hyper-patriotic Yank. He is a Michigan native who explains his absence up to that point by serving in the US military. Lastly, we have the Dick family. The Dick may be the most insightful family to address if we're actually interested in learning more about cultural distinctions in the Letterkenny cosmos. The members of this local Mennonite family are Noah, played by Jonathan Torrens, his wife Anita, an ex-Walking Dead cast member Sarah Wayne Callies, and his sister Lavina, played by Brooke Bruce. The family also includes their daughters Chastity and Charity, played by Olivia Kalili and Cora Eckert, respectively, and their two sons, whose names will most likely be equally hilarious when they're finally revealed. One of the funniest and best Letterkenny episodes to date, in my opinion, is Season 8's Holy Sheet, which is about the Mennonites deceiving the Hicks with unintentional innuendos. However, the double entendres do not end at the names of each family member, because there is something to bust a gut over in nearly every line of dialogue they speak. It would be nice if there were more Dick in each episode, but one can see why it probably wouldn't happen. Perhaps the Dick might be the center of the next spin-off. That is all we have for you today. Do you agree that the characters mentioned earlier deserve a spin-off that focuses on them? Which series would you like us to discuss in future videos? Let us know in the comment section. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you for watching.